Hey champs, Nate here. Today I want to share a story that's personal and transformative. So it's about my journey from losing myself in the putty scene to rediscovering my passion for fitness and overcoming some obstacles and also sharing some lessons that I learned along the way. Yeah, anyway, so not too long ago, I was fit, active, and living my best life. So I competed in a couple bodybuilding shows in back in 2016. Took a couple years off bulking to compete again, but then COVID hit and I was also focusing on work. And like, probably some of you and maybe many of you, I found myself, on the putty scene as well and sidelining my fitness goals. So at this time, gyms were all closed, right? So gym was no longer part of my daily routine, and I began to lose the discipline and structure that I cherish so much, right? Like I talk about it all the time. And so looking back, I lost a lot of time and I hadn't grown much during the years when COVID hit. So I'd say as things started opening up, so post COVID, I had a realization that I had to stop all the endless putting and start focusing on growth again. So during this period, I found myself as well in a relationship that, in hindsight, wasn't the right decision for me to make. But it took me being single to truly reflect on my priorities and decide that it was time for me to focus on myself again and start working on the habits that I had probably built up during COVID. So the bad habits. So it took me a year, probably like 2022 was more of like a year of breaking down the bad habits that I had. So it's kind of like, yeah, I had bad habits, right? Like just like anyone else. So it took me about a year to break down those bad habits. And yeah, 2022, 2023. And so moving on, probably majority of 2020, end of 2023 to 2024, I started building onto those habits with more positive habits, right? So yeah, so I would say September 2023. That's when I decided that, hey, let me actually commit to this and make a change and focus on myself. And obviously, the best way and the easiest way to change your life and transform yourself and transform your mindset is to actually change how you look as well and your body. So it's like you go to the gym, hit some iron, and that iron will teach you something, right? So September 2023, I was weighing about 170 and I kind of had a dilemma at that time. So most of my life, I've never been someone who's overweight or fat. I never really consider myself fat. Probably now is the time that I might say I'm bulky. I can't really say that I'm fat. But definitely my BMI, if you're talking about BMI, I'm considered obese, but I have probably a ton of muscle. And so I faced a dilemma to say, hey, should I bulk or cut? So given the uncertainty of how much muscle I had at the time, because I hadn't trained for such a long time, I decided that, hey, I need to bulk, right? So I chose a goal. I need to hit 200. So I'll say that I'm there, but I'm not quite. I'm still 198, right, when I wake up. So I need to make sure that I'm 200 when I wake up after using the washroom. So I'm a couple pounds away. So probably realistically by the end of this month, I should be at 200, right? Morning weight. So that's my journey so far, right? But to get to 200, it hasn't been as smooth sailing even to get to this point, right? So in November, I pulled my muscle, which significantly slowed my progress. So the muscle that I pulled was my pec, right? So it was right here. So I pulled my pec minus. So yeah, I was doing bench press and then I was loading up. I was feeling good. It was one of those workouts where you're feeling really good, right? And so I did 295, one rep max, and then I went loaded up 300, and boom, I just felt my right side just give in and snapped. I felt like a wave of electricity just pulsing through, right? And I just knew that, hey, this thing was done. So my progress kind of slowed down because I had to adapt and change my training program, especially for my chest. So my chest is not as, I've always had like a good chest, but it's not as good as it looked like before. So it's kind of like, it's now average, right? So it's now average. It looks like everyone else's chest. But yeah, but I kind of struggled with flexibility, muscle tightness, right? So I had to start reintegrating stretching into my routine. So now I'm stretching like before and after my workouts. And so now the other challenge that I had before when I was trying to get back into the training was that I never used to have any sort of like tracker for my workouts or log to see how much weight did I push the last time or how many reps, how many sets I did. So I try to keep everything in my head because back in the day when I used to train and, you know, go hard like pre-COVID, I used to track everything in my head because I knew exactly what I was doing. I knew my program in and out. I knew exactly what I was doing. But after losing so much time, I just had no idea what I was doing. So I initially created this Excel tracker, which I think now looking back was pretty clunky, but at least it was a program that I could follow and which was structured and I could actually track stuff in the gym, right? So more recently, I'll probably say January, end of January, I switched to a Heavy app, which one of my good friends recommended as well. And so it's really changed the game and revolutionized my workouts really and how I approach training. And so it allows me to customize my program, track to see, okay, I can also input like how many reps and reserves I still have. So every set I can track and, you know, see what I did the last time. And it's very easy. It's seamless and probably the most effective app that I've seen to track your workouts. And I've also tried Strong. Strong is another one, but Strong is not as user friendly. Let me say that's probably the right word to use. It probably tracks more things, but Heavy it's more like an Instagram, but for fitness, right? For like people that are working out, logging their workouts, and you kind of sharing your stats with people that follow you and people that you follow. So it's pretty cool. It's pretty nice. I like it. And so yeah, so that was kind of like the challenge that I had. And so in January, probably before I started using Heavy, or as I was starting to use Heavy, sorry, excuse me, just kind of burping there. But so in January, I hit a plateau as well. So if you follow me on Instagram, I was kind of going on about it. So I only managed to gain about 1 pound in January, which is not ideal, right? Really slowed down my progress. So I didn't, you know, necessarily give up on it, but I realized that I had to adjust my plan. So a couple things that I realized was that my food intake was had to be adjusted because now my intensity with my workouts was probably not necessarily that it changed at that time. No, intensity hadn't changed, but then I felt like my metabolism was picking up and I was also including doing more cardio. So I was probably I was burning more calories, so to speak, right? So I don't really know exactly, like for sure. I can't say for sure, but I just wasn't making any progress. So I did a couple things. So increased my food intake by about 300 calories and intensified my workouts. And so, sorry, so with my calories, it was mainly carbs that I increased as well. So my protein stayed relatively the same. I was hitting like 250 grams of protein. So that stayed relatively the same. And before I was also hitting about 250 grams of carbs. So bumped that up to about 331 grams. So and then my fat went up by about 10 grams or so. And so, yeah, so that's how I kind of adjusted my diet and then intensified my workout. So bumped up my number of sets during the workout. Actually, the entire workout program, I changed it. So I was doing a push-pull program, and then I just switched to Arnold, a 5-day Arnold split, the advanced program. So the most I've ever seen any progress in my physique is when I switched to Arnold. The Arnold program, my body feels it and responds very well to it. But the catch is I get sick the first week I switch that program. I always catch a bug, like a flu, right? It's not a sore throat or anything, it's just a flu. My sinus, so I feel like my system is just adapting, right? Because it's quite intense, definitely intense. So I was doing like about 30 or so sets per workout to like 40 sets per workout, right? So that's the program that I started following, and I've seen significant results. So that helped me break through the plateau. So the changes definitely paid off. So I know for sure I'll be at 200 by the end of this month. So I'm just 2 pounds away. So the physical transformation is evident, right? Like boom, boom, right? Like I can't hide it, right? Everyone can see that. The numbers are there, they don't lie, right? But more importantly, my mental and emotional growth has been profound as well, because I learned the value of discipline again, consistency, self-belief, and I really cherish these things. These are things that I believe in and I cherish. And I think for me, the happiest I feel is when I'm seeing progress and growth. But if I don't see progress and growth, I'm like asking myself, hey, so is this all there is? Right? So I'm always working towards something to help me grow, right? I find joy. Some people will say, hey, like, that's not a healthy way to do it. Like, I actually find joy doing that kind of thing, right? Just growing and pushing myself. I find joy in that, right? So if I'm not doing something or working or building something, like, I don't feel happy. I don't feel like I'm progressing, and progress makes me happy. That's really what I enjoy doing, right? I enjoy working out, I enjoy working, I enjoy these things, right? And I also like, downtime and unwinding and just relaxing as well. But when it's time to actually work, sometimes depending on what I'm working on, I don't feel like I'm actually working. The time flies by so quick, right? So it's, for me, that's just what it is, right? So today I'd say like my life has transformed in more ways than one, just more than just the physical, right? So my routines, habits, and even my relationships reflect a more focused and disciplined Nate, right? So I've set some new goals now. So once I get to 200, I'm gonna start my cut. And also not just fitness, but in all areas of my life, and just pursuing them with the same determination and resilience that I discovered on this journey. So yeah, so to anyone that's watching this or feeling stuck or unsure about taking that first step towards change, know that it's never too late, right? Never give up. Your journey will have its ups and downs, but believe me, the destination is worth every step. And it just takes, those daily steps, right? You just have to do it day by day. You don't have to do it all in one day, but just do it day by day, just the one little step each day. And, if I can do it, so can you, right? Like, there's nothing special about me. So if I can do it, so can you. So if you haven't started, I urge you, like, start today and never look back. Just keep moving forward. Fight for the life that you want, that you deserve. Right. So thank you for, letting me share my story with you. And it's been a journey of self-discovery, challenge, and growth. So remember that only limits that exist are the ones that you place on yourself. So don't limit yourself. Keep pushing, keep growing. Let's crush those goals together. And so don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more inspirational stuff like this, conversations. So anyway, until next time, peace out.